Spoštovani predsednik Vlade Republike Slovenije, dr. Miro Cerar, spoštovane gospe in gospodje, distinguished representative of foreign-owned companies, allow me that on behalf of our president, Mr. Marian Mačkošek, who is really seriously ill, on his behalf, I welcome you here at the Chamber of Commerce, and I also will be your host today. So, foreign and mixed-owned companies operating in Slovenia are an extremely important part of the Slovenian economy, employing 92 employees and representing a fifth of all employees in the private sector, or 12% of all Slovenian employment. Foreign-owned companies also employed slightly more new employees than domestic-owned companies in 2014. This is just one of the reasons why I'd like to express a warm welcome to all of you for attending the founding session of the strategic group of representatives of foreign-owned enterprises. Today's meeting is the first opportunity to join representatives of companies with extremely different geographical backgrounds into a formal mode of collective operation in Slovenia, as their companies originate from Austria, Germany, France, Switzerland, Czech Republic, Croatia, Italy, Serbia, Denmark, Finland, United States, Russia, Egypt, Japan, just to mention this one. Such a diverse strategic group can contribute to a better business environment, greater competitiveness, and a higher living standard in Slovenia through exchange of experiences and transfer of good practice. Together with companies in domestic ownership, you represent a strong professional counterpart in discussions with the Slovenian government to create measures for a successful integration of companies into international markets. Companies with foreign ownership are extremely export-oriented, establishing almost half of their sales in other countries. The added value in these companies is growing. Last year, it increased by 6.2%. Nevertheless, it is still 6,000 euros greater per employee, totaling at 45,000 euros. Net profit increased by more than a tenth last year. Equity is increasingly embedding Slovenia into international markets in the future. At the end of 2014, the status of foreign investments in Slovenia was 12.1 billion euros, which is 600 million more than in 2013. Equity represented 70% of this value, the rest were loans. Direct foreign investment in Slovenia has increased an additional 344 million euros in the first quarter of this year. Publicly, there is much discussion concerning funds. These numbers are backed by strong fluxes of knowledge, human resources, services, and innovation, especially from home-owned development-oriented companies, as well as strong multinational groups with centers of development in Slovenia. As such, it is our desire for all economic actors to join forces and combine efforts to openly exploit the willingness of government to listen, to achieve a stronger development momentum in time of growth in Slovenia. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased that together with us is our Prime Minister, dr. Miro Cerar. Gospod Cerar, dovolite, da vas povabim za govorniški oder.
Spoštovani gostje, gospe in gospodje, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be here today at the inaugural session of Strategic Group of Representatives of Foreign-Owned Enterprises at the CCIS, Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Slovenia. Your willingness to promote and share good business practices and proposal for a better business environment in Slovenia based on your experience and knowledge is warmly welcomed. Slovenia is on the path towards economic recovery. In 2014, Slovenia enjoyed moderate growth, which, according to forecasts, will continue in 2015 and 2016. And also encouraging for the Slovenian economy are the favorable forecasts in our main trading partners, since exports are one of the key factors for our economic recovery, as it was already explained. Nevertheless, economic growth and good forecasts should not lull us into complacency. As the distinguished Harvard professor Michael E. Porter said, national prosperity is created, not inherited. Therefore, we must constantly evolve and adapt to global conditions and challenges in order to mitigate potential shocks and crises and to achieve long-term, sustainable and smart growth. In order to achieve long-term growth and create high-quality jobs, the government has drawn up measures in crucial areas to increase productivity and efficiency and ensure an appropriate level of social inclusion and justice. The statistics show that Slovenia is generally still lagging behind in terms of foreign direct investment. Attracting investors might indeed have been slow and cautious in the past years, but during this time we have gained experience. We are now striving to become more open to foreign investors by creating a friendlier business environment for investors and existing businesses alike. One of the government's main goals in this regard is to put Slovenia on the map of attractive locations for investment. Companies with foreign direct investment in Slovenia are achieving higher earnings and higher added value per employee compared to companies with only domestic capital. Attracting more quality foreign investment to Slovenia, particularly in areas offering high added value, would bring new knowledge and ideas, fresh capital, access to new markets, and more local employment. What is more, foreign direct investments could increase both export competitiveness and competitiveness on the domestic market. Building on its competitive advantages, Slovenia wishes to position itself as a center for research and development, a logistics center, and the center of the green economy. Many of you have already recognized the attractive strengths of our beautiful green country, such as Slovenia's strategic location, its export-oriented economy, its excellent infrastructure, its highly educated and skilled workforce, its technological excellence, and its innovation-driven environment. Ladies and gentlemen, Slovenia wishes to become a reference country in certain industries. Our government is willing and ready to work in close dialogue with the business sector and jointly shape more often efficient and competitive business environment. I wish the strategic group of representatives of foreign-owned enterprises at CCIC every success, and I'm looking forward to your suggestions on the further development of Slovenia as an attractive location for foreign investment. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, we invited Mr. Prime Minister to be our guest also because we would like to share with him ideas, proposals for better environment for business in Slovenia, and also we would like to give him an direct information about what is going on at the moment. We know that at the moment Slovenia, as member of European Union, has quite good perspective on one side, especially export is developing very well, but on the other side, there are some problems. I would underline problems, not only obstacles, like, I don't know, the situation with Russia, with Eurozone, with, of course, Greece. So all these matters are here on the table, and I would like that we share with our Prime Minister our point of view and our ideas how to be even better and more competitive in future. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite you to start the discussion. We have found that Prime Minister would be very pleased to be with us until 6 o'clock. So if we organize ourselves now, I think that we could share all ideas which we had in last weeks when we discussed how to organize this meeting. So who would like to be the first? I would like to ask you to present yourself also.
Okay, if nobody ready. Anton Chernych, President of the Board of Slovenia Industria Jekla. We are producer of steel makers. We are here present already almost more than 7 years, and what we saw right now as a foreign direct investor here, that Slovenia have to provide some preferences, because I mean, what kind of preferences could be here in this region, what it should be more attractive in comparison with other regions here in Europe. And for my opinion and the opinion of my colleagues from the company, we have to work here. Okay, this is obvious, it's nothing new, the taxation system. Because the taxation system here, what we have, it's influenced a lot, and it's quite complicated to provide additional working place, labor place here, because of the taxation is quite high. And it's like example from our company, in order to pay some rewards to the workers as a premium in the end of quarter, something like from each 150 euro, half of this we have to pay to the state. In this case, all the projects which you are thinking about for the future to develop the company and to provide additional labor place, you are each time thinking about this labor cost in the future. And this is quite crucial for us. This is what we really would like to point it out. And the second, it's also connected with taxation. It's for energetic sector and for all the pollutions and all the such issue for ecological, which each year became higher and higher. Previous year it was a decision that it will not be changed for 2014, but then in the end of the year it was occasionally changed. And for the last 4 years, I could say it was changed in such way that we pay additionally 4 million euro. It's quite sensitive.
Okay, thank you very much. I propose that we get some ideas and thoughts, and then I would invite Mr. Prime Minister to reply or to get his opinion. Who would like to continue? Not wait too long, please. Please.
Spoštovani gospod predsednik vlade, dear Mr. Prime Minister, Dr. Miro Cerar. My name is Vojmir Ulep, President of the Management Board of LEK and Country President of Novartis to Slovenia. I have to say that I fully agree to what my predecessor pointed out with respect to the taxation of the labor cost, because I have pointed this out so many times that it doesn't need, let me say, to be repeat it once again, but if we want to follow the path which you just presented, where one of the key priorities of Slovenia is to become R&D center, then we will definitely need to do something significant in this area. We do employ approximately 600 people which work in R&D, and we have now more than 46% of people who are university graduated, having Master of Science or PhD degrees. And we have the average salary which is, or wage which is high above Slovenian average. And of course, if we want to continue our very successful course, then we will need some support from the government side. On the other hand, Novartis has proven in these 11 years since the company was acquired, by constantly investing into Slovenian environment, that Slovenia can be very attractive and interesting for high value added industries. But I have to say it very openly that if it had not been the acquisition of already a successful company, this environment would have never qualified for an indirect investment of this magnitude. So this needs to be pointed out as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next one, please. Please.
Edi Kraus, Julon, Ljubljana. Just one point regarding the green economy. We foresee for Slovenia a big potential in this field, and we are also very present already from 2011 with some regeneration process, and we have quite a lot of problems regarding the rules and the tax and the law regarding the environmental problems. And what I suggest to the ministries which are involved in these processes to be more flexible and to try to understand that when we are speaking about regeneration or about recycling, we are speaking about material who are coming in Slovenia from outside. They are imported. They are in a certain way. For many of inspectors, they are thinking that we are dealing with pure waste, but we are treating this as a raw material. So we have to find this, to define this different thinking about this kind of things, because we see that in all also final products regarding the automotive industries and other industries, the recycling, the products coming out from the recycling and the regeneration material will be the success for the companies. So please try to be more flexible. We at the last time we have seen that some improvement has been done on this, but still I think that we must understand the real potential of this new kind of industry processes. Thank you.
Thank you. Next one, please. Please.
Good evening. My name is Baha Abdallah. I am the board member, executive board member in Iskra Emeco, a company who is producing electricity meters, and we are producing almost, and we are exporting almost 95% of our turnover around the universe. last year, for example, we exported almost to 72 countries. So we have some experience with other countries as well, and some incentives. I would like also I agree completely with my colleagues here regarding research and development. I think we need to focus a little bit on the research and development in the different perspectives as well. We have also the biggest research and development in electricity meters in Europe. That's around 120 or 130 people. And we are facing a lot of difficulties to hire high calibers. And we cannot even attract some foreigners because of the taxation. This is the famous issue we have in Slovenia, as well as the incentives. When we are comparing the incentives in Slovenia and the other countries, really we need also to think in this for the incentives for research and development, if this is one of the government goals in the future. So that's what I want to add here. Thank you.
Thank you. Next one, please.
Okay, if you will allow, I will add some additional. Okay, from the taxation and the research, we could proceed to the. I could say also there is some problem which is obvious, which is on the surface. What we saw right now, it's education, lack of education of the industrial engineers. We are prepared right now to invest in a new strategical program for our companies, which is in the end will around 400 million euro for the next 5 years. But what we saw already right now, it's a really problem who will work within 5-10 years with this equipment. Because this is a really lack of industrial engineer what we saw right now. And I suppose we have together, it's not only part of the government, not only part of the state, it's also part of our job, try to create some program to attract the people to become the industrial engineer, to be a worker of the real sector. This is, I mean, one of the important issues which we have to think about together, that we will not be able to realize this only by ourselves. Thank you.
Next one, please. It's not necessary to be negative. I think that also we could say something positive to our government or to circumstances in Slovenia, especially because the results of businesses in Slovenia are improving in last, let's say, almost 2 years.
Branko Rožič, Kuličev karton. If you want some positive shots, I can provide, perhaps. When statistics leaflets are coming into the company and asking me, ourselves, or our staff, what is the obstacles to doing business, which you see, we always have one response: no obstacles. And this is the fact. This is true. We don't think that there are major obstacles that our business environmental and our I would say actions from government, from politics would anyhow harm our business. The taxation, yes, out of the labor, the taxation is okay. I mean, we are 17% profit tax. We are one of the lowest. There is nothing. There is no discussions about this figure, for instance. Yes, the taxation of the labor is the easiest one. It's very simple. I mentioned several times that government needs to set priorities and need to decide about key structure of the business environment in the future. Foreign investments are one of the major. And when it comes to foreign investments, it comes to our attitude of Slovenes, of the Slovenian politics toward foreigners. This is the key issue. What is our gremium here? Our gremium here is to accelerate, to improve this issue toward the foreign investments. Our first speaker said, each investor sets plus and minus. What are benefits of the country? What are the plus that actually give the decision at the end of the day, yes, I will invest in this country. And these factors need to be improved significantly in order to accelerate the foreign investments. And I would say we have enough educated staff in the government and politicians to do their job. We need to do our job in the companies every time. Thank you.
Let's go on. Who would be the next one?
Alexander Zalaznik, Danfoss. I would like to say something in addition to what Mr. Rožič said. I think that what we are hearing also now when we are talking privatization and so on, I think it's very obviously that we have a part of Slovenes and a part of Slovene media and probably part of Slovene parties which are, I would say, relatively against foreign investors. And I think that this is really wrong. And I think we need to do all what we can. We as managers of the foreign companies or the politician really to share among the media and among the people how positive actually the foreign investors are. So what they bring, as you said in your speech, Mr. Cerar, the foreign investors bring new knowledge, new markets, new products. Foreign investors also bring, I would say, a lot of new workplaces, but most likely but this normally happens on a longer time. Sure, now when we are talking privatization, so we are privatizing so our companies which are on the list to be privatized are mostly relatively bad managed. And sure, the first thing what every investor, could be foreign or domestic, will do, will optimize or will improve the management of the company and improve the profitability and improve efficiency of company as such. And I think definitely will happen that in the first, let's say, a year or the first 2 years in such a privatized company will be less people employed. So we cannot avoid this. And when the company will develop further, then sure the new jobs will come and so on. And we have to have a look into privatization process from a bit medium-term perspective and not only what will happen next week. That's one thing. The second thing is really, so it has been, so we are discussing basically every month taxation. So it's also true what Mr. Rožič said, yes, taxation on profit is okay, but taxation on the income it's really awful. And I think here we also have to understand that when we are getting more foreign investors, we are also getting more people who are in-stationed here. So we get foreigners who live for 2-3 years here in the country. And these foreigners come here, you have to pay them, you have to provide them when housing, you have to pay the cost for the living, you have to pay the schools, kindergarten, and so on. And this is all taxable income. And then to employ such a foreign specialist for a relatively short time, for 2 or 3 years, it costs a fortune. So a similar one is is paying out, I would say, yearly bonuses or something like that. So this is also a nightmare for everyone, because when you get at the end of the day, if you are on the higher end, you get 43% paid out, and the rest goes to the state, So we cannot develop. I would say we cannot develop the country towards, I would say, being highly specialized or development center or something what we would really like to be without having a seriously steps and seriously change in the personal income taxation, because otherwise people will go somewhere else. Slovakia has now the flat rate. Czech has, I think, almost very close to. Hungary has a flat rate. So it's a totally different environment. So this is. So I will not continue further. No, but thanks.
I'm going to take just one comment in this phase, but then I would invite Mr. Prime Minister to comment remarks which we got until now. So, who would like to be?
No, it's okay. My name is Dénes Szabó. I'm at Ernst & Young and the head of the tax consulting services. Because there was a lot of comments about taxation, so I thought to kind of give my thoughts to it as well. And being more on the optimistic side, because yes, there are issues definitely, and some of the tax rates, tax system is more competitive. There are some other elements, compensation, definitely that's less. But I think one important element that you all understand when there's a decision made at a global company of where to invest, where to bring the research and developments and others, they compare Slovenia with other countries and other opportunities that exist, including the taxation and obviously a lot of other factors. And in order to make sure that we are on the right track, so Slovenia is moving on the right direction, I am committed, and that's what I said last time as well. I'm happy to work together with you to bring comparison, to make studies, to show where Slovenia could be kind of taking the next step to be more competitive in the areas that was designed. So in terms of research and development or green energy, I think to make sure that we have the suggestions, proposals on the table compared based on other countries' practices as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Prime Minister, how could you comment?
Well, thank you. Maybe just a short comment on your remarks, opinions, observations. First of all, I have noticed that you are all very serious people. Nobody smiles. Nobody is smiling. I think a bit of smile would be quite good for all of us, because we are too serious in this country. Too rigid in a sense, if you know what I mean. And this is the part of our, has become the part of our mentality in the past years, including the taxation issues and everything. And you all want to see Slovenia more flexible, more open, more, friendly to businesses, to foreign investments. So I am well aware that one of the most important tasks of our government is definitely to improve our business environment, to make it more friendly towards foreign and other investments as well. So you can be quite sure that we are thinking about this all the time. And of course, we are also aware of many other challenges which are ahead of us in order to provide all this, what you are talking about, and even much more than that. So it's very difficult now to comment all these things, especially from the point of view of the Prime Minister now. But I can assure you that this government is not just thinking about this, but also working on these issues. And we will prepare, let's say, a reform, some changes, some basic changes regarding the tax system. And also we're working hard on some other, let's say, changes, reforms, if you want, such as, let's say, education system and labor market, how to promote competitiveness, etc., etc. So, for example, you mentioned the issue of this, how to get workers with certain skills here in Slovenia. I'm well aware that we have many well-educated people, young people and others, but not with all competencies needed for the businesses which are coming to Slovenia or which are opening here. So it's important now to provide for these competencies. This is the matter of our education system. Then, of course, as I said, I mentioned the tax system, of course, and then how to provide for more flexibility in the labor market, etc. And I hope that you will stay here in Slovenia to be able to see all these changes in the next few years, because I'm sure that this government has to, let's say, has to deliver some of these changes in a year or two if we really want to be more attractive to foreign direct investments, if we really want to attract you to stay here in the long term. And since this is our fate, I would say, we have no other choice than to do this, I'm sure that we will do it. But of course, all possible advice is quite welcome. So I will be very glad to see the report from this meeting, and I will inform my ministers and my advisors to take all your remarks, commentaries into account. So please, I mean, be free to be critical, to feel quite open in this discussion, and we will just be very happy to see I'm sure that you will make a certain report on all this, yes. And that could be, I think, all for now, because it's very difficult now to enter a discussion with you. You must understand this, but I really hope that this discussion will be fruitful and will provide with some good arguments. Thank you very much for the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. Would anybody want to say something or to add something what we haven't done until now? Please.
My name is Špik Andrej. I'm coming from Simobil, and I would like to touch on the issue which is probably much closer to our Prime Minister. That's the legal system. We experienced in the past that procedures in front of the courts are cumbersome and long-lasting, so it's really difficult to protect any sort of right if you need several years to go through all the procedures. Then additionally, but connected to the same issue, is the tendency of courts to judge on procedural issues, not on substance. And as a consequence, there's not enough case law to be really sure about the outcome of some burning business-related legal issues. And then the third issue is connected to really impossible high standards of proof that courts decide in issues connected to the, let's say, damages in competition protection cases, or in situations where the actual situation has to be contrasted to some sort of situation which would exist without violence of law. And there it's almost impossible to prove that there was business damage or to provide enough evidence for the court to protect some basic mechanisms of working competition. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Okay. I start my speech, with the question with the issue, the preferences. And right now, also as a wrap up, also we discuss a lot about this taxation, about the legal problem, about the education and so on. But main issue, what we have to point it out that, okay, this is all details. But in general, what we have to decide, here or on the level of government, put on the weight all gains and benefits and just make the comparison with the minus of other countries. Because each time if I participate some meeting, we are talking a lot about some hub, some location preferences, and that's all. But okay, even location, we have problem with the railway all the time. That how to...
Chamber of Commerce is also partner of Economical Social Committee, and there we deal with social partners, and we know that it's very difficult to persuade Slovenian unions and public opinion that we need privatization, that we need changes concerning labor regulation, taxes, and so on. So we are aware in business community that in Slovenia people don't like to change, but business community would like to help Slovenian government and also to Slovenian authorities to change even more quickly and radically, because I think that now when we are in better condition than in last years, it's time for changes, and this is an opportunity for us. So, Mr. Prime Minister, thank you very much for being with us. Of course, we will inform you about our conclusions, but nevertheless, I think that in Slovenia there is now a time and conditions for a little smile on our faces, not to be so serious. So thank you very much, everybody, to be with us.